So I'm trying to do things manually without extensions because Alex from SketchUp school said if you rely too much on extensions, you won't know the basics. And that makes total sense. But I've made some scenes. So this is cool. This is two sides of a shop. A buddy of mine wants to put in a loft. And so I'm able to hit the scene and it kind of animates it. $7 foot to the bottom of the beam, 8'3" to the top of the beam. And there you go. So what I need to learn is this. Let me see here. Like this one little piece. Let me just pick any one of these. These came custom made. They're actually tongue and groove subfloor. I don't know how to cut the edge off. I tried. I drew a line across here, and then I tried to push pull. I keep wanting to say extrude, but push pull. And because this has some really crazy looking actual subfloor tongue, it wouldn't all go away. So if somebody out there can tell me the right search to do to find out how to cut this off. I even made a big thick rectangle, and I thought one solid could cut another solid, and that didn't work. So I keep jumping to Google and asking questions. I'm going to start asking ChatGPT. But so I need to trim that off. And then let's see what else. Probably put rails, or I think he's got shelving going in here. I'm not sure. But this is how I would frame this. And one of the things, well, I like this 3-button mouse. Instead of running the plywood against the walls first, I just figured put the framing against framing. And when you run the plywood up, you just have to, before you put this first joist in, put a nailer, and let's see if we can zoom in and I'll show you what this is. It's just a 2x4, and it's nailed to this joist, and it just sticks down 1.5 inches or so. Whoops, this is really getting old. When you zoom through, what do you call it, solids, man, it slows down to like molasses speed. But anyways, then when you plywood, you have a nailer all the way along here. Along the back, you have blocking 16" on center, so it's no big deal. And there's two sets of ledgers. There's a ledger against the blocks, and then there's a ledger against that one to come out over the posts. And then here's a 2x8 nailed to the face of the post. It's underneath the end of these cut ledgers where they join. So that's all gravity friendly. And then where they put the 2x4s to seam the plywood, to cover the seam, I just thought it might be a good idea to do the same thing out front so that your ledger is nailed into every 4 feet, something that's all the way to the ground. That'll make it extra rigid, extra beefy. Because if you just had blocking back there, these 2x6 girts, because they're on the flat, they could sag or torque, depending on how much you load the floor. But this way, you're going to put shear rated lag screws in here and here. But then the real secret sauce is putting up extra wood directly underneath where the ledger goes, and then you can just plywood in here, and this works all the way around, plywood everywhere. And then up top you got 16" on center. So if this felt a little flimsy when you were going to do plywood on the upper part, you just do the same thing. You just nail a 2x4 and let it stick above enough that it clears the subfloor, and in that way you don't have to do all the plywood right away. You can tuck insulation into there or set electrical, and you'll have the framing done for your floor system, and you could leave it like this for a while. And I think it would be a lot better. It's always better to do all the framing before you start sheeting, just as a rule of thumb. Like you want all your rafters in before you put the roof decking on. Um, but anyways, there it is. So this is pretty cool because this is all SketchUp. I normally use Chief Architect, and I'm finding, although SketchUp is piece by piece, and then you can replicate. I did find out that if I made these posts components instead of group, and when I had to raise one, I raised a post, and they all raised. That was very cool. So what I should have done is anything repetitive like these little blocks or whatever, because the first row of blocks is shorter, and then everything else is from here up is 2 feet on center. So like, 2 feet middle to middle. I think this one is 2 feet over to middle. That's what I think. I didn't build this thing, so I don't really know. Just guessing. But anyways, there you go. I don't want to run this video long just for any old reason. But these scenes are cool, man. Yeah. All right, there we go. Hope y'all enjoy that, and I look forward to getting any kind of feedback, and hope the microphone works. I've had to reconfigure my desk, so now I took my microphone off of the I had one of those Rode articulated arms, and now this is back in its little stand. And since I don't have a lot of vibrations going around in here, I think it should be okay. So with that, have a good evening.